Hey guys, so had a message off Ed, one of my students, who is expressing some dissatisfaction with the London system as white at the moment, saying he's maybe not having great results or maybe not enjoying it, which is, it's good to know that stuff, really. If you play an opening and you don't enjoy it, if you find you're getting your ass kicked too often, or it's just kind of leading into the kinds of games where you don't feel comfortable, where you're not having fun, then absolutely it could be a good time to rethink that. I mean, I've done that with the Black Lion. I was I played the Black Lion quite a lot, and I've just checked it today, and I'm getting a 45% win rate on that compared to over 50% for white. So I've kind of abandoned that, and it's okay. It's okay to move on. When a relationship's not working. If it's not giving you what you need, then have a look at a different one. So Ed's saying, maybe have a look at the, you might have a look at the Vienna. So I thought, as a public service, let me give you a short introduction to how to play the Vienna game. I've been playing the Vienna a lot. I'm enjoying it a lot. I've got a bunch of videos that feature it. Let's just kind of bring together a bluffer's guide to the Vienna game. Okay, so let's dive in. So I've got the analysis board up, and you play the Vienna as white, and it starts with e4, e5. Okay, now at the beginner level, in fact, I'm going to switch to the Explorer instead of the analysis board. We'll do it in the Explorer, and we'll show my games, okay? Because that will give us an idea of results as we go along as well. Okay, so e4, e5, and I've played a lot of d4s, over 1,000. That's leading to the Danish Gambit, but that's not what we're talking about today. My second most popular move is knight to f3, because I played a lot of Scotch and some Italian games and stuff. Move number 3, knight to c3, the Vienna game. Okay, so knight comes out to c3. Now the natural knight move here, of course, is knight to f3 because it attacks this pawn. Okay, knight to c3 is a bit kind of goofy because it's defending the e4 pawn, right? But this is a good knight. This is a good attacking knight. Okay, so what will you expect from your opponent? Well, let's look at the what the Explorer says. Knight to f6 is common. Now, knight to f6, the Falkbeer variation. This runs into one of the nicest lines that you can expect, the Vienna Gambit. You can see with f4, I've played it 120 times, won 67% of those games. So f4, yes, we've moved the forget about it pawn. Okay, but if the pawn captures, you get to play e5. And look, now the knight has nowhere to go because the queen's guarding those, the knight's guarding those. He can't go to any of them. So the only two moves that you will really see here are knight back to g8, and I've won 73% of those games. And the other one, so knight back to g8. I mean, this is just great. It's just that you force black to completely undevelop his own knight. And then the way that you must proceed here is knight to f3. Okay, this is a key move. You've got to remember this move. At any point when this diagonal is open up for that black queen, yeah, you don't want this stuff. Sometimes you can get into some horrible problems when you've got a pawn here, right? So you can't allow this queen to come out with check, all right? Because say, for example, you just play something like that, then queen can come out with check. You think, oh no, what can I do? I'll push that. Pawn takes, and you can't recapture because you lose your rook, okay? And it's all falling to pieces, right? So you don't want that. You've got to avoid this. Okay, so knight retreats. You must play knight to f3. The knight is then defending these two squares, right? Very common. You'll see this with the King's Gambit as well. Got to remember that knight move, okay? This knight is very often an attack piece. It will very often come to d5. So let's look at the other version for this. Okay, knight comes out there, and you push and attack the knight, okay? If the queen comes to e7, that's not a problem. You just play queen e2. I've played this 20 times. I've won 18 of them. okay? And then the knight has the same problemo, innit? Yeah, can't go to any of these squares. They're all covered. The knight nearly always goes back to g8. Okay, I've seen f3 before, which is no trouble because you just probably take it with a knight. What else has people played? Knight to c6. Okay, giving up the knight. Okay, but basically the knight's going to have to go back again, and then you've just got a great position. Again, the queen's on this diagonal, so what do? We should probably play knight f3, although d4 is also playable. I think if the queen comes down, then you can simply play king d1, and you're okay. I mean, you've got this nice centre. There's an awkward pawn there that's not going to live forever. You've got a development lead, and black's got nothing. And knight to f3 is going to come and hit the queen, and black's going to lose a tempo that way. Okay, so excuse me, that's a Vienna Gambit, and that's if they accept the Gambit, which I have seen maybe not half the time, maybe about 40% of the time. That's not too bad, but it's all good. It's all good for white here. Okay, now other poor moves, you'll see d6. d6 isn't great. It's just kind of quiet. You could capture on here, leading to pawn recaptures, and that kind of leaves things a bit spacious. Or you can just, I mean, d3 is playable here. Knight to f3, of course, again. So that's pretty quiet. I'm not referring to my own notes here. I'm literally giving you what I can remember from having played a few of these. So yeah, I've played knight to f3 a bunch of times, but also f takes e5 has an 83%, so I've won 5 out of 6 of these games. Okay, so that's good. With d takes is the most common, and yeah, I've still won 4 out of 5 of those. The another thing that you might see here is knight to c6, which we like this one as well. We like this one a lot, okay, because this goes into the what I call the Halloween line, because you go ahead and capture anywhere on e5, and black thinks, ha, free pawn, I'll have for that, thank you very much. And again, I've got 2/3 win rate here, okay, because you play d4, dominate the center, very much like the Halloween Gambit, okay. And then there's only 2 real main moves that you'll see. Knight comes here, you must push the e pawn, not the d pawn, okay. And you're hitting the knight again, and again he's got these same problems. He can't go there, he can't go there, he can't go there, he can't go there, right? So most common move, again, knight to g8, right? So that's all good fun. You might see this move as well sometimes, and here again I just play e5, and again twice we've had knight to g8. There's also this queen e7 defense as well, pinning the pawn against there, but again, same deal. You just do that, okay? What you do have to be careful about is leaving this pawn undefended. If there's still a knight on c6, if there is a knight on c6, you can't play the queen to block the pin there. You should play the bishop probably to block the pin. All right, let's go back a little bit, and what else can you see? Okay. Let's rewind all the way to one of my other favourite lines, okay? You'll see this quite a lot. This is bishop c5 line, okay? I've seen this 37 times, and I've won 68% of those games. This is lovely, because this is the Wayward Queen line, okay? Because now you throw out queen h5. And again, this is very, very good for white, okay? So, clearly we are, just like the Wayward Queen attack, where these 2 pieces, the bishop and the knight, aren't developed. You just play this on move 2, like Nelson would. Look at these defenses. So queen f6, that's the most common. I've seen that 9 times. I've won 8 of those games, right? And you just play knight f3, and then you're gonna have ideas about this move. Remember this move a lot of the time. This is very, very, very useful. Okay, knight to d5 comes in a lot. Okay, so here we've had, for example, d6 has been played the most, and Bishop to c4 is good, but knight d5, I've won 2 out of 2 games, okay? So you're hitting this queen, removing both of these squares, right? But the queen also has to defend this. So here, queen d8 is forced, right? Queen d8 is forced, just undevelop the queen. And look, 1, 2, 3 developed pieces versus 1 for black. And then going on, we play knight g5, threatening mate on here. g6 forced, you know. And then queen f3. This is a normal kind of maneuver in any kind of wayward queen line. You're just moving, you've forced them to push this weakening pawn push, and now you just come back to f3 and challenge for that again. So that's always a nice line. Something that I see quite a lot, and it's a bit annoying, knight to c6. I've got a 50% win rate here. Knight to c6, you play bishop c4. So we're looking down on there. Knight to f6 is most common. And here we're kind of getting into fairly normal kind of 4 knights territory. Might play d3 here. f4 is still playable, but yeah, I'm getting about a 50-50 result rate with this. It's a bit dull. It's a bit ordinary. So knight f3, we're kind of in a 4 knights Italian here, which is all fair. I think actually this is the line where you could actually have knight takes e4, and actually black has won both games where this has been played. So this is this spicy Italian, and if knight recaptures, black then has this d5 with a fork on the bishop and the knight. Okay, so that's pretty interesting. Yeah, I've seen this twice. I've lost both times as white. So there you go. That's the Vienna. Is there anything else? Let's just check this. I mean, there's some random stuff that you'll see. Yeah, d6 very quiet. That's a bit boring. But yeah, I think that's really all you need to know. This is your Vienna Game starter pack. Give it a whirl. Write your own notes. I will paste my Vienna notes, all of them, into the description of this one if I've got enough room, because there's only a couple of thousand character limit or something. But yeah, I'll try and do that. But if not, I'll find some other way to share that with you guys. So yeah, give it a spin. The nice thing about the Vienna is, if you look at this, so let's flip the board and we'll say that my game's as black, right? So when white plays e4 and I play e5, okay, hang on, then the most common move is not d5. We'll start again. Okay, so I'm black, e4, then e5, okay. Knight to f3 has been played 414 times. That is like 2/3 of the time when I've played this in the past, knight to f3 played, okay. That's 414. Knight to c3, 27 times. That's the difference, okay. You go around playing knight c3 with the Vienna game, your opponent ain't gonna know what to do. Okay, and here I've played knight to f6 the most, but I've won more than half those games, so nothing too bad there. But yeah, that's a really good reason to get into this opening, particularly lower down. If you're below 1500 or below 1000, your opponents will not expect this knight to c3 on the second move. So yeah, it's a good way to knock them out of their comfort zone, knock them out of what they're familiar with. Nothing not to like, really. And as we've seen, there's some very fun and tricky lines in it. Tends to create quite open games, attacking games, just lots and lots of fun. Okay, so that's for you, Ed, and anyone else who fancies giving the Viennese a whirl. Yeah, enjoy it. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to Chess Bootcamp if you haven't subscribed, and I will see you soon.